Alright, so starting off this list is the debut record from German tech death pioneers Necrophagist, and that would be the almighty, the very dark, the frenzied, and surgical onset of putrefaction. Now, if you are unaware of who Necrophagist is exactly, there are a few videos that you need to go watch first of all, but they are the founder and true pioneers and innovators of this extremely clean, surgical, and precise brand of technical death metal, and countless thousands of bands owe so much to this record in particular. Mohammed Sweetchmez is the genius behind Necrophagist, and he basically wrote and played every single instrument on this album, including doing the vocals, which he does whilst singing, which is incredibly impressive, right? Musicianship and tightness of recording is really the name of the game here on Onset Your Putrefaction. German precision engineering, one could say. Every single song on this album is a complete and utter banger, and the brisk runtime of only 35 minutes absolutely flies by. Absolutely zero skips here. And one of the things that I really like about this album is despite how fast, blasty, and frenzied it is, they always keep it fresh and original with these slower tempo sections. They often contain lots of grooves and often give lots of space for the solos to shine. It's a really nice juxtaposition for the more frenzied verse parts with the vocals, right? I absolutely love the amazing bridge section to Breathe in a Casket, which features this absolutely like addicting diminished chords that are like bent a little bit. I don't know how to describe it. Just listen to it. It's just so good, man. Solo sections are another particular highlight here, and I really always appreciate how the band sort of slows down and changes and gives the solos a lot of room to breathe. I love that neoclassical flair that they have as well. I also love the extremely catchy songwriting of tracks like Mutilate the Stillborn and Intestinal Incubation and To Breathe in a Casket. And despite how fast and technical everything is, there are still plenty of catchy hooks here. Hooks abound, really. My friend and possibly the biggest Necrophagist fan on YouTube, Faye's Dream, pointed out to me that a lot of these songs really relate musically to the titles and lyrics of the songs, right? For example, the main riff of To Breathe in a Casket sounds like the heart rate monitor of someone having a panic attack, like being buried alive. And I really like how the main riff of Intestinal Incubation really sounds like something is like squirming around and growing inside you. It's really cool, and a lot of these riffs in these songs follow suit. Which, by the way, if you are a tech death fan, you should really check out Fayence's latest album, Repose of the Soul. I also actually consider that to be a zero skip record. It's so good, really incredible stuff. It's precise, clean, and highly melodic. It's like tech death with all these grand melodies. I actually really love it. And it actually features Hannes Grossman, the Necrophagist drummer who drummed on Epitaph, right? Go check it out. Check out the song Blythe. Absolutely incredible stuff from my fellow Albertan Fayence. Hell yeah, brother. But, of course, I would be amiss to not mention the final closing track here, which is Fermented Awful Discharge, which contains what honestly may be my favorite solo section in metal, like, period, honestly. I love the under solo riffs there. They change so much. The solo is just fantastic, too. Pure banger album, absolutely zero skips. Well, hello, my friends. We meet again. It has been a while. Where should we begin? Now, when we talk about an album that has zero skips, it doesn't mean it is a perfect record, right? Zero skip records could be an album where every song is just really good. You know what I mean? It could also mean that every song is amazing, you know. But of course, there are albums that I consider to be amazing landmark, really, really enjoyable albums with a skip on it, right? For instance, I absolutely love the album Far Beyond Driven, but if you think that I'm not skipping Good Friends and a Bottle of Pills every time it comes on, you're you're out of your mind. You know what I mean? Oftentimes, great albums often contain sort of like weird, experimental, like one-off tracks, or perhaps like an instrumental that you just sort of like skip and move on to the next track, and thus that disqualifies them for this list. For me, an example of this would be Periphery 2. I absolutely love that album, but I always skip all the electronic interludes. Like, what's the point of listening to them, right? Another example of this would be Death's The Sound of Perseverance. Now, I know I'm like the biggest Death glazer on YouTube here, and I absolutely adore that album. It's one of my all-time favorites, but I would be amiss if I didn't say that I sometimes skip the Painkiller cover at the end, right, before I just move on to something else, right? You listen to the whole album and just sort of skip the Painkiller cover. Not that I think it's a bad cover, it's enjoyable, but, you know, I just don't want to listen to it all the time. So with that in mind, that is the criteria for an album that has 0 skips. But before we continue on, I just want to say that if you like this video and want to see more stuff like this, it'll really help me out if you hit that like button. Really helps out this channel more than you think. Hit that sub button as well, as 80% of you guys aren't even subscribed to me here, which, you know, shame on you. Shame on you. And if this video is popular, I'll probably make another list of 5 more of them. So let me know if you like that. And shout out to all my YouTube and Patreon supporters. I also stream every single Friday here on YouTube, checking out new music. So come in and hang out. But that is enough self-shilling. Let's move on to the next album. And that would be Blind Guardian's 1992 masterpiece, Somewhere Far Beyond. Now, in that little spiel I said just a few minutes ago, I mentioned that some great records have these like weird experimental tracks that I often just skip, you know, instrumentals and covers, blah, 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 which often end up just getting skipped, right? Because it's not what I want to listen to this album for. You know what I mean, right? But when it comes to Somewhere Far Beyond, it is actually like the exception to all those things. Because this album contains lots of these weird tracks, right? Black Chamber is essentially a minute-long piano and vocal number, which I absolutely adore. It's so good.
I am lost in the black chamber. There's no way to turn.
The Piper's Calling is a minute-long bagpipe instrumental of all things to put on an album. And then Spread Your Wings is an amazing, amazing rendition of the Queen song. It's just so epic and feel good.
Spread your wings and fly away. Fly.
And then Trial by Fire is another cover, which really does feel like an homage to like their earlier speed metal stuff before, right? For some reason here on Somewhere Far Beyond, these tracks just work well. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the brevity of them. Maybe it's just that it fits into Blind Guardian's sort of more experimental and extravagant side. Love them regardless. But to be honest, these are just the tip of the iceberg here in terms of being great stuff. And this is where Blind Guardian's bombacity and experimentation meets like the aggressiveness of their earlier speed metal work, and it just reaches the perfect apex of the two, the perfect intersection. It works so well. The chorus of Opener Time, What Is Time may be one of the best in power metal, period. And Hansi here puts on an absolute clinic on this song and this album. His voice is just so good, filled with so much grit and power. I love his singing.
Time, what is time? Come lock the door, don't let me in.
But man, like all of the songs are fantastic here, right? Journey Through the Dark carries on the driving speed and metal aggression with another absolutely amazing chorus. Theater of Pain changes it up a little bit with a more sort of like experimental and progressive side, a little bit more of what you would come to hear later on with Blind Guardian. I love those horns in that song too. It's so good, man. And of course, right, who couldn't forget the 2 Bard songs, which both of them are easily some of my favorite Blind Guardian songs ever. And the sing-alongs live, whenever you see them, to the Bard song in the forest, it's just so good.
Tomorrow will take us away. Out in the distance, there's so much gold.
Somewhere Far Beyond just puts the icing on the cake here, the song that is. And honestly, guys, I just love every single second of this album. Absolutely amazing. 0 skips here as well. Even if you're not a power metal fan, check this out.
It's turning faster away from life's great.
Now, I'm trying to cover a vast and wide array of subgenres here, so let us move on to some black metal, with Immortal's 1999 magnum opus, At the Heart of Winter. To me, this album is like the absolutely perfect fusion of the black metal vibe and atmosphere with the aggression of thrash metal, all combined under this immense icy atmosphere, complete with some incredibly beautiful melodies. Now, this may be like a little bit of cheating for this list, as this only has 6 songs, but at like 45 minutes long, I would say that this is definitely an achievement for none of them to be skips, right? Lots of these songs are quite longer. Love them all regardless. Now, let me just say, I also adore this album cover. It's one of my favorites of all time. This is the first album to feature Abbott on guitar duties, and let's just say he comes up with some incredibly unique and very interesting riffs. This album has so many amazing riffs on it. It actually just sort of feels like riff hoarding. Opening track with Stand the Fall of Time sets the scene perfectly. It just feels grand, thrashy, and icy all at the same time. I absolutely love the crazy double bass work of Solar Fall and the bridge section with like the clean guitar and rolling toms before it explodes into that amazing, super groovy riff. It's just like 10 out of 10, man. Probably one of my favorite moments on this entire album. So good. Tragedy's Blowed Horizons is another banger, bringing some more of that, classic sort of earlier Immortal aggressiveness. Seriously, guys, like the amount of 10 out of 10 riffs on this album is awe-inspiring. Abbott is just going crazy here. Abbott vocals remain croaky as ever, but somehow it fits into this whole vibe with like this icy landscape perfectly. And I love the tremolo picking riffs and chords and stops and starts of where light and dark don't differ. And man, who could ever forget about that absolutely grand and majestic intro of the title track here? It's just, wow, so good. Closer Years of Silent Sorrow shows us that the band can still blast and play at breakneck, ludicrous speed with that black metal aggression, but retains that sort of melancholy, icy beauty, which this album does so well. Absolutely amazing album, 0 skips here as well. Highly recommend this album, even if you're not the biggest black metal fan. Like, I'm not the biggest black metal fan, but I absolutely love this album in particular. All right, so now let us move far away from the icy Norwegian black metal scene all the way to their next door neighbor, Sweden, but with the Swedish prog metal goats, Seventh Wonder, and their world-class concept album, Mercy Falls.
Let the shadow break the unbreakable.
Now, to me, this is far and away my favorite conceptual album of all time, easily, not for the grandiosity of the story, but rather for the holy, very human struggles of this story here, right? The story is about a family and how they grieve and deal with the aftermath of a tremendous car accident, which leaves their father in a deep coma for a very long time. Told from the perspective of the father, the mother, the son, the grandparents, it really is just a very down-to-earth story and incredibly emotional. So good, man.
Don't want you to go. Is there no other way? I'll cherish.
Of course, right, this is all told through the brilliant, expressive, and soaring vocals of Tommy Karavik, who actually now also lives in Alberta, so shout out Alberta too. But to me, the story is just sort of secondary to the music here. To me, this is the absolute best use of a repeating motif throughout an album ever, in my opinion. And this motif, which you first hear clearly on the song There and Back, is used in so many subtle ways and contexts throughout the album. It's just amazing, and it gives it insane replayability as I find myself hearing it in like a different way or from a different instrument every single time I listen to it. It really is incredible songwriting here. It's so good, man. Guitar, bass, and keyboards, each just absolutely amazing and extremely, extremely tasteful, I gotta say as well. Because despite being prog metal, this never goes off into the deep end and becoming prog for the sake of prog, you know, all that wankery and just crazy stuff like that. Instead, it remains rather understated, beyond a few moments here and there, which make those moments where the instruments really start to shine and flex all that more enjoyable. My favorite example of this actually would be the bass solo break in Break the Silence. It's just amazing stuff, man. Really, really great and enjoyable bass playing there for sure. The entire band just paints this amazing landscape for Tommy to soar above and tell a story. His singing here on this album is just so incredibly emotive, emotional, and heartfelt that it is really hard for me to even like pick just a few clips to show you guys here, right? I would just show you the whole album. For me, the highlights of his singing are the slower, more stripped back songs of One Last Goodbye, Tears for a Son, and perhaps the highlight of the entire album for me, which is Tears for a Father. That song is just so good. I love to sing along with it, belt out with Tommy. I love it. I love it.
I won't cry, no I won't, I'll be strong. Good night, Dad.
But don't let my description fool you guys, right? There is still plenty of exceptional prog metal goodness here, including blazing solos, ripping keyboard parts, really great groovy drumming, and of course, right, huge sing-along choruses.
'Cause when time runs out, all your fears will be in vain.
But it's just all done in such a very tasteful way. This album at 1 hour and 14 minutes is a journey, but it's well worth every single second as the story unfolds. I'm not the biggest long album fan, but this album just flies by every time for me, right? They even did a full live playthrough this album for Prog Power Atlanta, which is another really fantastic way to experience this album, especially that whole crowd sing-along in Tears for Father. Just goosebumps every time. Amazing record from an incredibly slept on and underrated band. Zero skips for me here as well. It just flies by every single time. Now, I asked the members of the Varvis Discord what albums they thought are zero skips. It's only $5 a month, and you get to support your boy here and come hang out and chat. And you get a free song request every single stream. So, let's see what they had to say here, guys. All right, boys, so let's check out what the Discord members had to say. Got the Fane's Dream shirt on. Shout out. So, let's get into it here. Let's see what our boys had to say here. So, here's me asking the question, and our boy Caesar responds with easy pick for me with Gojira, L'Enfant Sauvage. Absolutely, pure banger album. Gojira really had like a really excellent run of like 3 albums here, right? From like Mars to Sirius, The Ways of All Flesh, and then L'Enfant Sauvage. Magma 2 you could probably throw in there. Gojira just really solid, consistent band. Absolutely. Good pick, Caesar. Okay, so our boy, that's Skater Boy, my boy from Colombia. He has to say is The Legacy from Testament. Not the biggest Testament fan, but I can respect that pick. As Daylight Dies from Killswitch Engage. Speak English or Die from SOD. Not really familiar with that one either. Not a big fan of that type of like thrash crossover stuff anyways. Power Slave from Iron Maiden. Yeah, I'd agree for the most part. Although, to be honest with you guys, I'm probably almost always skipping The Duelist. Just got to be honest with you guys, you know what I mean? But otherwise, yeah, really great album. And then we have Kill 'Em All from Metallica. I'll be honest, not a zero skip album for me too. I'm probably always skipping Anesthesia, Pulling Teeth. No hate. That song just isn't for me. But that's a pretty good list here. I totally agree with As Daylight Dies from Killswitch, though. 100%. Good pick, Stat Boy. Now we got something or other. He would say runner-up would be Agalox The Mantle. Absolutely, 100%. Really great album. Whatever you want to genre you want to describe it, just a really nice vibe through the whole thing. You can listen to the whole thing in one sitting, no problem. And then he also has Hawken with The Mountain. Actually, I've never listened to that one, so I'll have to check out that album after this. My boy here says Iron Maiden, Somewhere in Time for me. Yes, that's another one. That's another really great, very solid, consistent album. Although I would be lying to you guys if I said that I didn't often skip Wasted Years. Just because I heard it so many times, you know, it's sort of like that AC/DC Sweet Child of Mine, you know, Welcome to the Jungle effect, where it's like I've heard it so many times, I just never ever need to listen to that song ever again. You know what I mean? But really fantastic album for sure. It's sort of like the same thing with Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. I love that album. I adore it. But I'm almost always skipping Can I Play with Madness, right? I'm listening to that album for the really great and moody and sort of dark progressive songs on that album, not for Can I Play With Madness kind of upbeat, very poppy sound. You know what I mean? Love that album. Skipping Can I Play With Madness every time. Heart Work. Mr. Giz says Heart Work by Carcass is a brilliant album. Yes, I agree. Love that song. Really great tracks in there. Great riffs. Great guitar tone and really, really charismatic and snarly vocals in that album. Really, really like that album. Great picks. Then we got Gorthal, my boy from Deutschland. He's got Mugla, Polish black metal, Exercise of Futility. I've actually never listened to that full album. That's another one I need to listen to. Summoning, Old Morning Dawn, Alceste, Escalier de Lune, Stairs of the Moon. Then he also says Amorphous, Tales from the Thousand Lakes. 100% agree. That is an excellent, excellent, excellent album. Really, really great Finnish melodeath there. And Sephirum, From Afar. It's another interesting pick. For me, I'd probably pick, Iron, but From Afar, I could definitely respect. I love Encepharum. I love the post-Yari Encepharum as well. Just really, really great, solid band. And he has Linkin Park, Meteora. Yes, absolutely. That's another album that just has banger after banger after banger. That album came out when I was 10 years old, and my dad had it on a CD, and he would listen to it all the time. So I would listen to it all the time. So I absolutely love every song on that album. No skips for me on that one. Even like the Mr. Hahn instrumental at the end there. You know what I mean? Was that on Meteor or was that on Hybrid Theory? I can't remember. Either one at the end, even that, I like that. Like the scratching part. I can't remember what that song is called right off the top of my head. And then he says Metallica and Justice for All. For me, yeah, I'd probably say that's probably a zero skip album. Even To Live Is To Die, it's a long instrumental, but it's just so beautiful, and I love the classical guitar in there, the riffs. Then my boy gave a whole list of albums here. So I'm not going to go through all these individually, just pick out some of the ones that I agree with. Obviously, right, my mind immediately drifts and looks right at Symbolic. When I make lists like this, I try not to put Death on here, because, you guys know that I just love Death anyways, right? But Symbolic, absolutely all killer, no filler. Right next to it, Rain and Blood. That's another all killer, no filler album. Really, really helps with like the short runtime too. Just makes that album fly by. Looking here, right, they got Gojira Magma. It's okay. Cowboys from Hell. I think I'm probably skipping Psycho Holiday on that one. A couple other songs. Like there's a couple of really good songs. Pantera is kind of, for me, very inconsistent, I find. Holy Diver, absolutely banger after banger after banger. No misses on that one. Lateralis. Yes, absolutely. Way of All Flesh. Oh, look at this. Yeah, Fall of Ideals by All That Remains. Absolutely. Another absolutely killer album from start to finish. Opeth right next to it. 100%. Was that King Crimson right up there? Yeah, okay. Bellacore. Bolt Thrower. Look at this. You got 1, 2, 3 Bolt Thrower albums. For Victory. Not my favorite, but the one right here, For Those Once Loyal. Absolutely killer album. All killer, no filler. And then, of course, the Just a Race and the Gallery right beside it. Love those tracks. Leprosy. Banger. Terrasite, another banger. Oh, there's from Mars Sirius right there. Oh, Dark Tranquility too, another one. A later Dark Tranquility album. Archspire, Relentless Mutation. That's another one. I don't know. It's like I love Archspire, but I need to be in the mood for that particular brand of tech death. If that makes any sense to you. Storm of the Light's Bane, another banger. And then we got Rust in Peace. Now, Rust in Peace is probably in the same vein as Somewhere Far Beyond by Blind Guardian for me, in the sense that oftentimes those like short, one-off, weird songs in the middle I might skip, but Dawn Patrol is like short enough and kind of breaks up the album and the pacing of it that I still enjoy it. Great bass line too. It's a cool song. But yeah, good list here. And any of the other ones we have here. Oh, our boy GG says he's got Colossus, Meshuggah, another banger for sure. Chaos Sphere I'd put in there as well. Symbolic, you already know. Lateralis by Tool, Vector Terminal Redux, Garea, Coma, and Gojira, The Ways of All Flesh. So yeah, if you want to be part of the Varvis Discord, make sure you come hop in. It's only $5. You can join in, help support your boy out here. You can also join on Patreon if you like. You get access to the Discord. You can come chat with me and recommend me songs and all that stuff. But let's get back to the list here, boys. All right, so now we have Wintersun's debut record, which of course is called Wintersun. Just now that I'm noticing that basically all these albums are blue. And if you count the original release of Onset of Putrefaction, that's also blue. So I don't know, maybe you guys want a video on blue albums? Let me know down in the comments if that sounds like something you'd be interested in. But yes, on to Wintersun. This album is just pure banger after banger. Now, don't get me wrong, right? I love the Time albums and the Four Seasons as well. But, on those albums, I'm actually pretty much always skipping the instrumentals on a casual listen to just get to like the meat of the tracks, right? However, the Wintersun debut does not really have that problem. It's all killer, No filler to be found here at all. These are basically all songs that Yari had been working on for a really long time, with I think demos for some of the songs, including Sadness and Hate, dating back to like 1998. But man, like this is just melodic death metal perfection with a healthy dose of power and folk metal to boot. It's just incredible. I love every single song here. Absolutely zero skips. Another album which feels like riff hoarding to me, Far Beyond the Dark Sun, opens it up with a bang, which is then followed perfectly by the relentless Winter Madness. I love the very waltzy feel of Sleeping Stars, and the song just develops and unfolds in such like an organic way, just perfectly. Battle Against Time is another relentless banger of a song with just some more insane blasting and riffs and just some really, really impressive singing from Yari here as well. Again, great riffs and solos. Death and the Healing shows off the band's slower, more melodic and grand and majestic side, right? With that absolutely amazing opening guitar riff, moving into that amazing chorus. Great, and very deep and powerful lyrics here as well on a lot of these songs. Excellent stuff. And the last three songs are all these amazingly epic and long journeys of songs here, complete with all these amazing twists and turns. I also just have to mention how I just love Yari's songwriting style, how he always preludes his huge, vocal climaxes with guitar riffs earlier in the song. So the guitars play the same melodies that are later sung. It makes the vocal melodies and hooks like even stronger because it feels familiar as you heard them once before. Just genius songwriting there. I love it. And the closer, Sadness and Hate, just has to be my favorite of the whole album here. Just amazingly catchy guitar work, and it unfolds and evolves in just such a beautiful way that makes like the 10-minute runtime of the song just fly by. Another fantastic album with absolutely zero skips. So I turn it over to you guys then. What album do you guys consider to have zero skips? Let me know down in the comments here, boys. I've been Varvis. Cheers.